Hello. I think I'm live. No, I'm not live. Hello. I'm live. Yay. And yes, I am wearing a party hat, and you'll find out why if you stick around. But for right now, since no one's here yet, I'm just going to sit here and babble and smile at the screen because that's what you do when you got nothing else to do. I don't know. I think maybe my party hat looks a little too much like a dunce's cap. What do you think? And of course, as usual, it says my frame rate is too low, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do about that. It doesn't tell you. It just keeps telling me this. But it seems to work. So anyway, I'm afraid my party hat looks kind of like a dunce's cap. What do you think? I thought it was kind of pretty and shiny. It was assemble it yourself, by the way. I ordered it from Amazon, and there were, I don't know, 16 of them or something, 12 of them, I forget. And they came in a flat package, and you had to fold it into a cone and then add the elastic. And then you had to actually glue the ball on the tip yourself. So as a result, my ball is slightly crooked. It looks pretty good when I put the head on at a tilt, but oh, for Pete's sake, stop telling me that. So, I'm still just going to blither here a little bit longer. As you can see, Skoda is sleeping in the window. No, other way. Skoda is sleeping in the window in the sunshine, being a lazy cat. So cute. Hi, Skody. He's ignoring me because he's a cat, and that's what cats do. But he did join me in my office today. I think he knew he would be on TV. And he likes to be on TV. Okay, my frame rate is still too low. I don't know what that means. Ah, one viewer, yay. Whoever you are, one viewer, will you write a comment so that I know who you are? Because it doesn't tell me who you are. It just says that you're here. And I'm just going to get the comments started by typing in just a letter. Ignore my random letters. That's just to make sure the comments come through, because a lot of times I don't. Oh, my viewer went away. Bummer. For Pete's sake. How do I make the frame rate thing go away? How do I make my frame rate faster? Does anybody know how to make your frame rate faster on Facebook? Because I sure don't. But I'm still here talking. Okay, well, it's 3 minutes into the broadcast, so I'm just going to get started. And the way I'm getting started is to sing to myself, because I'm celebrating an anniversary. This month, August 2023, is my 20th anniversary as a published author. Woohoo! So now I'm going to sing to myself. Happy author anniversary to me. Happy author anniversary to me. Happy author anniversary to me. Happy 20th author anniversary to me. Wait, somewhere I have a noisemaker here. Oh, that looks good up. Woohoo! All right, what should I make a wish for? 20 more years of authoring? I don't know, that seems like a long time. Oh, what the heck? Did it. I will eat my cupcake later. It is the world's smallest cupcake. Yes. Why? Because it's a Nutrisystem cupcake. Dragged it out of my freezer. I'm just doing that because I can. Okay, so you may wonder how I got started as an author 20 years ago. Well, it was with this book, A Bridge to Love. This was my debut novel. This was the original edition, which was a mass market paperback. Now it looks like this because I got my rights back and published it myself. You can see the difference in size there, right? Now it's trade paperback. And at one point, it had this cover on it, so you may recognize this cover too. So how did I get started with this book all those years ago? Well, it was published by Berkeley in August 2003. I don't remember the exact day. I probably could look it up, but I don't remember it. And what? It's the old days of publishing. There was no self-publishing back then. I mean, you could pay a vanity press, tens of thousands of dollars to publish your book, but wasn't really being published in those days. Things have changed in a good way. Over here, whatever. And so I finished reading this book, which I loved. When you write your first book, you get to write it all for yourself because you don't have an editor, you don't have an agent, you don't have anybody telling you what you should write. You just make it for yourself. So I wrote this book for myself. The hero is Randall Johnson, who is a self-made multimillionaire because billionaires were not a thing back then. And don't tell any of my other heroes this, but I think Randall Johnson is my absolute favorite because I wrote him just for me. Just for me. He was my hero. So, yeah. So, all right, I'm just going to say hello to a few people who have come on. Maria, hello, woohoo, you're here. Ruth from UK, I love it, across the pond, thanks for coming. Mary Jane, hi Mary Jane, so good to see you here. So thank you guys for coming, lovely to have you here. Thank you for coming to celebrate with me with my teeny tiny little cupcake. And we're gonna blow this again. Woke Skoda up again. See Skoda? No, back there. There's Skoda. That woke him up. Sorry, Skoda. Sorry to keep waking you up. So anyway, Maria says, hello, cat. Yes, Skoda cat. So this is what the book looks like nowadays. But those were the old days of publishing, and you had to query. First, you queried agents because you really needed an agent to sell a book back then. So I spent a year querying agents, got nowhere. So I was sitting and chatting with a college professor who I had become friends with because I audited English courses at Drew University back then because I thought my brain was turning to mush and I needed to make sure it still worked. So, but we had become friends. She was the loveliest person. Sadly, she's no longer with us. And I happened to mention I was, I had finished my book and I was looking for an agent. And she asked me what kind of book it was. So I told her, very commercial fiction, romance novel, not literary, because she was a professor of English literature. So I wanted to be very clear on that. And she said, oh, actually, that's good. She said, a young woman who used to babysit for me is now a literary agent and she represents romance novels. So would you like me to put you two in touch? And sure enough, she became my agent, and I was driving down south at Thanksgiving to go to my sister's house because we always get together at my sister's house for Thanksgiving. And my cell phone rang back in 2000. I had only had the cell phone a few years at that point because sort of like there was no self-publishing. Cell phones were kind of a new thing. But my cell phone rang. This was actually in 2001. God. And we were in the car, the whole family, and it was my agent. And she told me that she had sold my book, A Bridge to Love, to Berkeley, which was part of Penguin back then. Now it's part of Penguin Random House, or Random Penguin as we like to call it in the biz. And as you might imagine, that was like one of my all-time best Thanksgivings ever, because to sell your book to a major publisher like that was just nirvana, publishing nirvana back then. So, so Berkeley published it. My title for it was Building Bridges, which I liked a lot, in fact. And they decided they had to change it because I was an unknown author and they wanted to make sure people knew it was a romance. So they decided to call it A Bridge to Love. Honestly, I hated it, the title. And I swore that when I got my rights back and I got to republish it myself, I would change it, but you notice I did. Why? I got used to it, I suppose, and also I didn't want to trick you, my lovely readers, into somehow thinking it was a different book, because there's nothing more annoying than getting all excited because you think your favorite author or one of your favorite authors, or even an author you just like mildly, I don't want to presume, has a new book out, and it turns out it's just an old book with a different title. So I kept the title, and also I just got used to it, even though I didn't like it. Let's see, what else? Oh, so the cover. The only authors in those days, and still, if you're traditionally published by one of the big publishing houses, had no control whatsoever over their cover. It was just like the title. They just told me they were changing the title. And I had no input into that either. But and I had no input into the cover. The only thing I begged for, because covers could be disasters in those days, was that they put the George Washington Bridge on the cover and not like the Golden Gate, because the George Washington Bridge, believe it or not, plays a significant role in the story. There's actually a really exciting chase scene at the end that takes place on the George Washington Bridge. I had so much fun doing research for that. I'll probably talk about that later. But I was terrified that they would like just slap the Golden Gate on the cover, or, you know, some other London Bridge. Who knows? The Tower Bridge. You never can tell. Luckily, they listened to me, and that is the George Washington Bridge with the little lighthouse underneath it. I can't say that I think the cover really was incredibly appropriate for the book, because it's not romantic suspense, despite the chase scene on the bridge. And this cover looks kind of dark, right? It's kind of a dark, suspensey looking cover, and it's really contemporary romance. I did think the lady was pretty. Can you see her? She's very pretty. So I liked her. But as you will notice, when I redid it myself for the third time, I put the hero on the cover in his tuxedo, because Randall wears a tuxedo and looks very good in it. And that is the George Washington Bridge behind him. You can't really tell, but it is the George Washington Bridge. And I really did this cover because it picked up on my Wager of Hearts covers, which you all are familiar with, which are the hero covers. So that's why this cover. Artifacts. So I always promised you artifacts. So when this book came out, I found in a jewelry catalog this bridge, which granted is not the George Washington Bridge, but doesn't look totally unlike it. I think it's actually a bridge in like Rhode Island or something, because I believe the jeweler was in Rhode Island. Anyway, I wore this pin to every book signing that I did for A Bridge to Love. I even gave away a bunch of these pins when, you know, people could enter giveaways when they sign up for my newsletter and that sort of thing. Maybe some of you own one, because I suspect that my faithful readers who have been with me since the very beginning may have actually been lucky enough to win one of these. But that's my artifact. And because it's a party, it's my anniversary, and parties should always have gifts, I'm giving you a little gift, because I have put all 3 of my standalone novels on sale for 99 cents on Kindle. So 99 cents on Kindle. Shower of Stars, which was published by Berkeley in 2004. 99 cents on Kindle now. And Music of the Night, my first really suspensey romance. I mean, this really is romantic suspense. I mean, there are dead bodies in this book. Well, I think there's one dead body. Also on sale for 99 cents on Kindle for the month of August. So grab them while you can, right? What else did I have here for you? Oh, I'm just going to do this again because I think it's fun. And I like waking up Skoda. Yes, Skoda. It's me again. As for what I'm working on right now, I am hard at work on Luis's book, King Luis of Caleva. And I actually, my critique group saw the first 2 chapters. So it's the first they've seen of the book. We worked through them on Monday, and they liked a lot about them, but they actually had just a really good idea for making the opening even more gripping. So I'm really excited to go back and revise, you know, because all writing is rewriting. So I'll be revising that based on their feedback, which I find very exciting. I like having input. Because, you know, I'm too close to the work, so it's a good thing. And what else am I doing? Oh, I'm revising the last 20 pages of How to Plan a Royal Wedding, which is, sorry, which is the, I'm just going to put another comment in here in case somebody else is commenting. Make sure to put questions down here if you have questions. Okay, so I'm revising the last 20 pages of How to Plan a Royal Wedding, which is the bonus novella that I'm going to give to all my newsletter subscribers in October. So make sure you're signed up for my newsletter, and I'll put the link in the comments below. And it comes right after the end of Royal Kaleva Gabrielle, because Gabrielle and Quinn have to plan a royal wedding, right? And you can imagine that Quinn is a little grumpy about this. But I've got to finish revising it, and then I will send it off to my copy editor at the middle of this month so that I can have it all ready for you guys by October. And I designed the cover myself. And I'll probably show that to you in September, because this month it's all about celebrating 20 years as an author. Woohoo! Very excited. Okay. Oh, and I just wanted to say that, oops, wrong cover, that all these books are on sale, not just in the United States, but in the UK, Australia, and several other countries that France, Italy, wherever my books have been translated. I figured I'd put them on sale. So you can find them for 99 cents on Kindle and all those places. Not the translations, because I don't control those, alas. Mary says, congratulations on 20 years. Thank you, Mary. I know, it's incredible. I don't understand how I could really be 20 years older than I was when I published Bridge to Love. That was a very exciting time. And it's been fun thinking about it and remembering all the book signings. Oh my goodness, I did so many book signings back then, because that's what you did, Kindle was not a thing, so people didn't get your books ahead of time. They didn't download them on release day. They had to go to bookstores or book signings to get your books. So I would do book signings in bookstores. I would just sign stock in bookstores. And I kind of miss that, because I love bookstores. So it's, things have changed a lot. Mostly for the better for authors, honestly, because we have much more control over our publishing careers now, but there are things I miss. So Maria says, how can you publish being only 9 years old? Seeing as you're only 20, Maria, I love you, and that's exactly the way I feel. How could I possibly be old enough to have been a published author for 20 years? The time has just gone by whoosh, but you guys know how that goes. Should I wake the cat up again? One more time? Yep, woke the cat up again. Are there any other questions? Any other comments? Because if there aren't, I'm going to sign off. But make sure to grab your books for 99 cents. 99 cents. Find out why Randall Johnson is my favorite hero. But honestly, I am probably going to be talking about this book and possibly the other two for the rest of the month, because there's a lot to talk about. And poor Skoda's still awake. I know, Skodes. I know. I'm just mean. Maria says, will we celebrate in Edinburgh next year? Oh, gosh. Wouldn't I love that? I don't know. I haven't signed up because I'm not sure I can justify the expense. It's a very expensive trip to go to rare Edinburgh. But I did have such a good time. Such a good time. Mary Jane says, congratulations on your 20 years. Thank you, Mary Jane. It kind of hit me all of a sudden. I hadn't even really thought about it. And then I don't know. Why was I thinking about Bridge to Love? I don't even remember. And I was like, oh my God, that came out in 2003. That's 20 years ago. Craziness. Ruth says, are you doing Edinburgh Rare next year? I don't think so, Ruth. It's just a really expensive proposition. I had so much fun when I did it last year. Right? Yeah, last year. Love seeing everybody, and I gotta say, those folks do an amazing job of organizing it. They just, it runs like a well-oiled machine, but it costs a lot of money, not just the travel, which, I can justify because I like going to Edinburgh and Scotland in general, but, everything is a lot. But who knows? Maybe I'll scrape it together. Maybe I'll get a great income tax refund. Who knows? a windfall, win the lottery. We could hope, right? Okay, well, I'm going to stop blithering along here since I don't see any more questions. And I will be back next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Ruth says it was great meeting you last year. Oh, ditto, Ruth. Fabulous. So, I mean, there's nothing better than meeting in person, right? That's just the most exciting for me, anyway. So, anyway, I will be back next Wednesday at 2 o'clock, assuming there are no unforeseen disasters, doing Writer Unedited. This is number 5, amazingly enough, so it will be Writer Unedited number 6. And while I may not be wearing a silly dunce's cap, I probably will be talking more about the beginning of my career as an author if you guys are interested. Thanks so much for coming by, everyone, and I will put links to things in the comments. And I hope that I will see you next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Love you guys. Thanks for celebrating with me.